In today's episode, we dive right into the marathon industry in India with Mr. Rohit Walavalkar, an industry expert and ex-liaisoning officer at Northeast United FC. And now, he's a professor at IISM and also works in the marathon industry. So let's dive right into the podcast and see what he had to say about the marathon industry in India, its growth, IISM's collaboration with the big marathons, and the industry exposure for students. So, Mr. Rohit Walavalkar, welcome to the podcast. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Pleasure.
And so, diving right into the questions. So, what is your role or involvement related to marathons in India currently?
Sure. So the role and involvement related to marathon is almost everything with regards to marathons in India, right from being a part of the marathon during the race days, or even being part of the Bib distribution or the Bib collection, which is a 4-day setup by Procam, the organizing committee or the organizing members of the marathon. After that, my role is again to develop a socio-economic impact report of the entire marathon, which covers a range of topics, right from what have been the age demographics of the people participating in the marathon, how much NGOs were a part of the marathon, how many categories were there, how many female participation, how many male participation. Basically evaluating the economic impact of that particular event on the city, on the country, on the runners as well as the social impact. How much participation has been a part of it, and everything related to the overview of marathon in India.
That's wonderful. So essentially, it's just overlooking the entire marathon and creating a brief on it.
Yes, creating a deep impact report about it, which is then published by the governor of Maharashtra. So this is something huge with regards to creating something that is read by a lot of industry experts, and as well as the sponsors, the promoters of that particular marathon, and what they can do better for the next marathon or the next year's marathon. And yes, coming up something concrete.
Yeah. So, what was your inspiration to get into doing all of this?
See, I have been a passionate sports lover ever since I've started watching sports since childhood. And I think in 2004 is when the first edition of the Tata Mumbai Marathon took place basically. And I clearly and very, very viably I remember that I was part of that particular marathon. My father had taken me for that particular event because it was first of its kind, a first marathon in India. Definitely it was only to see how a marathon happens. I came across, or I saw a lot of celebrities who were there for the marathon. I was a very small kid. I had that autograph book with me where I had taken autographs of all these celebs. And that was really fascinating. And then I decided, along with my father, we both decided, to run that particular marathon, which is annual event of that of Mumbai. And it's been over a while that we have both been running that particular marathon. And now since I've been in the sport industry, working something on Tata Mumbai Marathon, like when this project came through, I was like, it was a full circle for me, where being fascinated as a kid of that particular marathon to actually working on that particular marathon, that was a full circle. And then it was obviously like I did not have a choice, or my heart did not say no to that project. So I was like, yes, I was very keen on working on that project. And then this project has definitely given me a lot of experience working on how a marathon is actually organized and what are the different impacts of that particular marathon. Because since I was a kid, I have seen that this marathon happens, people run. Once the race begins, people start running. touch the finish line and that's over.
Yeah.
But what happens behind the scenes
yeah.
is something which I'm learning right now while working on that particular project. So that's fascinating for me.
Yeah, so that's a brilliant inspiration. But as you said, you have been seeing the marathon since 2004. Compared to that, how can the current landscape of marathons in India in general, not just the Tata Mumbai Marathon, how can the current landscape be described?
Sure. As I said, the Mumbai Marathon was the first marathon that had happened in the country in 2004. Yeah. Now, from that, we fast forward to 2024. So that's 20 years from 2004. Yeah. And Procam itself has come up with four marathons in a year. So that is called a slam.
Yeah.
Like we have it in tennis.
Yeah.
We have a slam. Where there is Mumbai Marathon, there is a Delhi Marathon, half marathon, Delhi half marathon. There is a Bangalore Marathon and there is a Kolkata Marathon. So these four are managed by Procam. Apart from that, there are so many marathons that are organized by different organizations, I would say, because the fitness levels, the love towards running, the passion towards running is something crazy amongst people. Yeah. There are so many people who run, and this is a good way to promote running. This is a good way to socialize, make running a habit. And there are so many marathons. I see a Hiranandani marathon, I see a Vasai Virar marathon, I see a Pink marathon, which is only for women. Which is organized, and all of this is done for a social cause. There is a marathon that is run on high altitude as well, like when you go from Mumbai to Pune,
across the Ghats.
So it's called the ultra marathon.
Okay.
So this is something which so many people across so many societies are running and towards different causes. Yeah. So that's really nice to see.
Yeah, so the current landscape has changed.
The current landscape has definitely changed. It has promoted running, it has promoted health, it has promoted fitness. People have started taking running as an hobby. People have started taking running as something that was earlier said like, okay, we run probably once or twice, to something. Running 42 kilometers is not a joke. Yeah. And people have actually started investing in that. People are training for 7 months, 8 months in a year, only to be a part of that particular marathon. That is a personal milestone, personal achievement for them, and that's definitely seen amongst people through the participation numbers at the marathons. And I can say that the growth of marathons from 2004 to 2024 has been tremendous.
Tremendous. While we are on that topic, I'm actually going to jump to a further question that I had for you. What is the impact that the marathons end up having on the cities and the people who are running themselves? Since we are basically on that topic.
Right. So I think the impact is huge, because the runners usually come 2 to 3 days or 4 days before the event. Like for example, the event is on Sunday. The runners from across the country, it's not just the people of Mumbai who run this particular event, but across the country and across the globe come to be a part of this marathon. So the hotel industry is booming during this season, because people are staying in those particular hotels. The tourism industry is booming because people want to explore good cuisines of Mumbai. The people who are actually, the vendors who are actually involved in this particular marathon, organizing this particular marathon, are getting a livelihood. So there is this economic impact. Now this year there was something called as the Green Bib initiative that was organized by Procam. So the Green Bib initiative basically was to promote a greener environment, to contribute towards the environment. And there were so many runners who had actually invested in this Green Bib initiative, and that actually had an economic impact. Like there was the money that was the contribution that was which the Procam got towards the Green Bib initiative. They actually made sure that the environment is getting better out of it. So many people got employed because of it. So that was a great economic impact, is what I believe.
Yeah, so that's part of the landscape change that we have seen over the years.
Absolutely.
I think marathons have also played a part in promoting the environment-friendly side of it. There's a lot of people who campaign for marathons being environmentally friendly and all. I think even Tata's electric division had partnered this year to provide an
So
electric
there are
vehicle.
so many initiatives, so many NGOs with so many initiatives that are a part of this marathon. You can see signboards, people wearing t-shirts which give out a specific message. People from all strata of society come and be a part of that particular event. Some come for winning that particular marathon, but there are so many of them who come who want to give a social message. Like for example, after COVID, during COVID, marathon was not there for 2 years, in 2021 and 2022. But when in 2023 and now in 2024, people have actually, the participation numbers have actually grown up. And there are so many people who are coming with different message that health is a priority. Keep health as your priority. Keep your heart running in terms of running. Okay, so people have realized, people have invested in running, and through running they are coming up with different social cause, social messages. So that's a good way to promote running.
Definitely. So in terms of making a marathon successful, we talked about the economic impact that it has on the city and the people and the vendors. But in terms of making the marathon successful itself, what do you think are factors that would be key to it?
So the biggest factor is the assistance from the government authorities. The corporation, the municipal corporation, the police, the fire brigade, the ambulance, the paramedics, as well as a huge cooperation from the volunteers is something that keeps this marathon going. Apart from that, the willingness of the people to participate in this event. If you do not have participation, the marathon is a fail, right? But people's participation towards running a Mumbai Marathon, people are absolutely training, as I said, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months of a year are training to achieve their personal best at that particular event. The third Sunday of January every year is this particular marathon that is organized, and people actually block that particular Sunday. People do not have any plans or do not make any plans for that particular Sunday, because they want to run that marathon. Maybe there are so many marathons organized, but people do not care much about those particular marathons. But this particular marathon is something that people are willing to run. People's willingness, the government authorities' willingness, the volunteers' willingness, the vendors who are invested in this particular event, their willingness to actually be a part of this event. So all of this combined together makes, all these factors are together make something, this marathon as a special event of the city.
So it's essentially like a combined willingness of everybody to make it a special event overall. So when we talk about that, that's what makes the marathon successful. But in terms of Tata Mumbai Marathon specifically, are there any unique factors that you would say in terms of organization that Procam as a company applies that makes it different from the other marathons? Like I believe there's Decathlon that also conducts one. So do you think that there are some exclusive factors that they apply to their organization that makes it so different?
Absolutely. So the biggest factor which is they are the first ones to come up with this.
They are the first ones in the game.
So when you are the first one, the preference is always towards you, right? You have actually got the culture of marathon running in India. You have introduced that culture, so people are more inclined towards that. Second, it's a yearly event. It hasn't started a couple of years ago, but it has been started 20 years ago. It is considered as Asia's biggest marathon. Asia's biggest marathon. So that is very impactful when, like for example, it is a pride of honor for me to run the Asia's biggest marathon. So that is one. This year they have come up with the Green Bib initiative. So doing something for the environment, doing something for the society. People are also very much doing something for the environment. So, for example, I contribute in the Green Bib initiative. I feel really nice in terms of, I've done something towards the environment. So via Tata Mumbai Marathon. So that is one. The sponsors, the title sponsor is, has such a good name in the industry. And with that good name in the industry, people, always want to be a part of that particular marathon. The brand ambassadors. Who
big celebrities with Tata Mumbai.
Celebrities as well as the brand ambassadors. Like for example, this year the brand ambassador was Katie Moon. And Katie Moon is the current reigning Olympic gold medalist. So nothing bigger than that. Right? So also the support from the government authorities. Everyone sees Mumbai as the biggest city in the country. And running a marathon in the biggest city of the country is something a matter of pride. So I think all these.
So that's in terms of how the marathon ends up for the consumer. But in terms of like behind the scenes when you're working, I'm pretty sure you must have worked at a few other marathons aside from Tata Mumbai Marathon. Like in terms of the organization that goes on behind the scenes, is there any major difference there, or is it pretty much the same like the other marathons?
I think there is a blueprint that is already been set, a blueprint that is followed each and every year. Now with 20 years of experience, Procam definitely must have made a lot of connections with regards to getting everything done at the right time, at the right place. Everyone is aware that the third Sunday of January every year is the Tata Mumbai Marathon that happens. And that is where not much has to be taken care of. Everything is in place is what I believe. But definitely, you have to be better each and every year. You have to upskill yourself, and making sure that your hydration partner, you have your hydration partner on board. You have a title sponsor on board. You have your nutrition partner on board. Everything is in place. Having your paramedics in place. So all of this comes into picture, and then. I'm sure even if they are already set, you have to have your connects at the right time at the right place. And that is what sets Tata Mumbai Marathon apart from the other marathons, and they do it very well because they have the yearly experience of doing this.
So it's their experience in the industry that makes them
experience in the industry apart. And absolutely class apart, and their expertise and experience, not just experience but expertise as well.
That's true. So when we talk about the partners, the vendors, the sponsors that contribute, it's kind of a silly question, but how do they get back in terms of the exposure? Like if I'm a partner, I'm willing to contribute a certain amount of money as a sponsor. Like obviously there's the returns that are expected, but what's the value do they get out of that?
I believe they in return they get a great value, because today, like for example, let's speak about Tata, for example, right? So now Mumbai Marathon, nobody speaks about Mumbai Marathon. Everyone speaks about Tata Mumbai Marathon. So you always will link Mumbai Marathon with Tata Mumbai Marathon. So everyone today, 60,000, 70,000 people just ran the marathon. There are so many who haven't run the marathon but are aware of that particular marathon, but the word that comes in their mind is Tata Mumbai Marathon, right? So everyone linking Mumbai Marathon with Tata is something that Tata is getting back in return, and likewise for other sponsors as well. Today ASICS is the the apparel and the sports partner for Mumbai Marathon. My personal opinion is, in India, people are aware of Nike, Adidas, Puma, and Reebok to an extent. Correct? ASICS is a bit less known brands. It's known amongst a section of the society, but not a household brand.
Not everybody.
Right? But if when you're running a Tata Mumbai Marathon, or if you are aware of a Tata Mumbai Marathon, you will always be aware of ASICS. Right? So ASICS is getting something back in return out of it. It's becoming a household name because of Tata Mumbai Marathon. Right? So I believe that the other brands, the other sponsors, the other promoters who are part of the Tata Mumbai Marathon also get the same in return.
Yeah. So that's how the partners get it back. But in terms of the revenue streams for the marathon itself, what are the revenue streams for them to generate money and an eventual profit?
Sure. The participation, so the number of participants who participate in this Tata Mumbai Marathon definitely have to pay a certain amount to get themselves registered for that particular run. So that is a part of revenue. Second is definitely the initiatives that have been involved, the Green Bib initiative. Third is the social cause, like for example the NGOs who invest a lot of as charity to be a part of the Tata Mumbai Marathon. So I think these three are definitely a major chunk of revenue generated by Tata Mumbai Marathon. Apart from them, I'm sure there are other sources as well. I believe that contribute towards generating revenue for the Tata Mumbai Marathon.
So we spoke about the economic impact, but how do you see marathons evolving as a business? Because we obviously know that Procam as a company does do it for some sort of commercial gains. So how do you see it evolving as a business in the near few years?
I believe it's a good area of business in the next few years, because over the period of time, the number of runners, the number of people taking up running is going to increase. People are very much conscious about their health nowadays, and running is the best form of exercise considered by a lot of people, right? And if you are running on a daily basis, on a every day in a week, you would definitely enroll yourself for a marathon, because that is an achievement which you want to boast about, right? And the number of people who the rise in the number of people, I would say the rise in the number of people would definitely have a direct impact on the business of the people who organize this marathon, right? So if you get maximum participation, the number of sponsors also would rise. The number of participation, the number of sponsors, the revenue would rise. Your brand name would rise, right? So this is definitely a good source of income, good business model for people who organize marathon in the future as well. And it's definitely growing up in India. Because as I said in our show right now, that every month there is a marathon that is organized. Every Sunday there is a specific marathon that is organized. So there is a Navy marathon, there is a decathlon marathon, there is Hiranandani marathon. There are so many marathons that are coming up, and I'm sure people want that exposure, to run.
So, are there any emerging trends in this area that will help? So we obviously talked about fitness and health being a major factor, like people being conscious of their health, which is why they're here. But are there any other emerging trends that would, in your opinion, lead people to come into running marathons?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there is something called as a social factor. So today, if there is a friend circle of mine, okay, I'm just giving you an example. There is a friend circle who is very much active into running. I would also personally feel that I should start running. That I am with my friend circle. That is something like a leisure or a activity apart from my work, and I become a part of that friend circle, running circle of my friends, and I start running. I take it as a habit, I take it as an activity. I come to know that there is a marathon that is being organized, and I enroll for it, right? So there is so this is the social factor that is that is one. Second is, can you give me a small?
So like the emerging trends.
Okay. So one is the social factor. Second is someone is doing it for like today there are so many social media platforms. Right. People like or people love to show off. What they are doing in life. Right. So someone may run a dream run,
Yeah.
but would want to show that
I did a half
finishers
marathon,
medal, because they have run a marathon.
Yeah.
So that is second.
Yeah.
Third is definitely people taking up running as an activity, a habit. Running 10 marathons, like a goal, achieving a goal that I'm going to run 10 marathons in a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So that goal, to achieve that particular goal, people take it. Third and last factor is probably definitely in regards to someone who is is obese, for example,
As a
wants to
fitness
lose
goal,
weight. Takes up running, takes up this as a challenge, takes it on himself or herself that I want to lose weight. I start running, or probably to achieve something or get out of their comfort zone.
Yeah. Essentially, just as a health factor to try and get fit once again. So, in these terms, as we talk about these fields of marathon, what are the opportunities that lie for an individual in this field?
So there are a lot of opportunities that lie. First is if you are enrolling yourself, or you are a part of an organization that organizes marathon, correct? So you are, for example, a participations manager. You look after the databases, you look after the sponsors, you look after the other corporates that are being part of the the marathon. You are looking after the NGOs, like if you are looking after the NGOs, the funds. You are part of the digital team, like the social and digital media, marketing team, the media team. So there are so many teams that are part of one particular organization that together contribute to be a part of a marathon. So you can be a part of that. Apart from that, you can be a part of the on ground operations team. That is also a very important thing, because whatever happens on ground has you have to have a quick
turnover.
Turnover. That what needs to be done, what is the thing that I need to
quick
take,
decision making.
Quick decision making. So you can be a part of that. So right from marketing to media to operations to participations to broadcast to social and digital media, everything. And the number of people being a part of this organization, since I have said that Procam itself manages four marathons in a year. Apart from that, there are so many marathons that are organized. So people can definitely grow their careers in this.
Yeah. On a personal note for you, I'll ask you, what is like one memorable experience or challenge that you have had regarding organizing marathons?
I think managing a huge set of people is challenging. I was a part of the marathon last year in 2023, not 2024, but 2023, where there was a huge, I think more than 70,000 people at Azad Maidan. And managing that particular crowd is very challenging, but once the marathon gets over and you come to know that that this event has been successfully handled without any casualty, that is one of the most satisfying thing, because managing more than 60,000 people at once for those 3 hours, 4 hours, and if you have worked throughout the year for that 3-4 hours, that is something very satisfying.
It's almost
but challenging as well.
It's
challenging but satisfying.
I think when something is challenging and then you are satisfied with it, it's, I think, more satisfying.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So from the marathon business, you have been an ex-liaisoning officer at a football club, Northeast United. So you have been in multiple different industries within the sports industry itself. Is there anything that you have learned from the marathon business that you will apply to any other industry in sports?
Yes, as I said, managing the crowd. Managing the crowd at the same space. Like for example in football in India, there is not little, but there is not more crowd that comes to watch an ISL game. You know, there are 7,000 people to 10,000 people, I would say. They come with a ticket, they watch a game for 90 minutes and that's done. Right? If you take the example of marathon, you are managing 60,000 people's database, right? From giving them the bibs to, you know, making sure that whatever query they have, to making sure, you know, all the paramedics, the fire brigade, the police are in place. That, for example, if there is any casualty that happens while running, you never know. There is a casualty that can take place. Like someone who is a senior citizen is running, and you know, suddenly something happens in the heat of the movement. And you know, you need to have those paramedics right in place, because that it's a matter of seconds. You know, and that is something that needs to be taken care of. The handling of people, the managing the crowd, the managing all the people at once, at the same time, at the same place.
Essentially, you would say the refining of operations in crowd management?
Yes, absolutely. Crowd management is something that is very different from a football business or football game in India to a marathon in India.
Definitely. I think even when we look at cricket at a lot of IPL stadiums, when we saw last year at the World Cup, I think crowd management is something that India could do with in a lot of places.
Absolutely. I think there needs to be a course, I would say, a certificate course just on crowd management, where people, there would be so many people who would be interested in knowing how a crowd is managed at a particular mega event at the, you know, for a short period of time, like say 2 hours or 3 hours.
Yeah, definitely. And coming towards the end, is there any inspiring story? We hear a lot of inspiring stories from the marathon, but do you have one which you have witnessed firsthand, or have one about yourself maybe that you would want to share?
So I do have one inspiring story. I have a friend, right? He is pretty, you know, he's in his 40s. Okay. He has a family, he has a child. So now this person was very lazy, I would say. I'm using this term lazy because, you know, not much of activity, just, you know, going to work and coming back, and, you know. But then this person, I'm talking of this about from 8 to 10 years back. And then suddenly one day just took up running as a casual Sunday activity. You know, probably loved that activity. I don't know what change happened, how the stars got aligned. I don't know. I met him, I think 10 days before the Tata Mumbai Marathon this year. He told me that, you know, he's participating in the 42-kilometer full marathon. And this is not the first time. He's been participating for the last 3 years. So I was shocked, I was surprised, but I was happy as well. And I asked him, you know, how do you manage? What got that change? He was like, this consistency. I got out from my comfort zone. I challenged myself. I thought, if so many people who are elder to me can run, there are so many people with disabilities who can run, then why not me? Right? And you know, that inspired him to take up running. So he started with a dream run, gradually moved to a 10-kilometer, to a half marathon, to a full marathon, where he told me that this morning, so I was having this conversation with him in the evening. So he told me that this morning, very casually, that I ran for 26 kilometers. I was like, 26 kilometers? I was like, okay. I mean, that was very, very surprising. That I felt I was ashamed of myself for, you know, about myself, that, you know, I've been in the sport industry, but I cannot run, obviously, 26 kilometers. Like, I just had a run. I went from here, this, and I'm preparing for a 42 kilometer, which is very easy. So he told me, you should also, you know, take this up. I was like, okay. But so that actually inspired me. I hit the gym the very next day. I thought, you know, I can run at least 10 kilometers on the treadmill. I don't want to tell you what happened later, but yes, that was pretty inspiring for me. And then obviously on the day of the marathon, I called him up specially. I asked him, did you complete 42 kilometers? He's like, yes, absolutely, I completed my 42 kilometers. I was like, are you feeling tired? Your legs are sore? He's like, no, it's very much This is my third time, third year running a 42 kilometer, and I'm okay. He's like, let's, catch up very soon. It's like, yeah. So
I think when a person speaks about their achievements casually, I think that's when you know. It's
like 42 kilometers, I can't think of 21 kilometers. This person is telling me I just ran 42 kilometers, and I know this person who did not even walk or run for a kilometer.
Yeah.
And from that to this is hats off.
Yeah, that's very inspiring, definitely. But coming back to a bit more of the serious side, you're obviously a professor at IISM as well now. IISM is known for its volunteerings, its internships, constantly giving practical exposure to its students. And in that sense, how much of an involvement do you think the university IISM has had in promoting its students to get volunteering opportunities?
Oh, the impact is huge. I must say that IISM's contribution or IISM's partnership with Tata Mumbai Marathon has been one of the best things that has happened, or I have seen, or I have come across. One is definitely in the first year itself, first year of a student's life. A student gets the opportunity to be a part of the Tata Mumbai Marathon. Not just a couple of students, but the entire batch. Right from a bib distribution, getting to know about the runners' queries, what is going to be the map, So everything, there is a proper channel that is set up. Where students get to know how a marathon is organized, to the race day where students are a part of the marathon, helping the fellow runners in terms of any queries they have, or if for example someone is not feeling well, providing them with refreshments, water. So that is also something a part of sport. Sport is nothing just about playing or watching, but this is something like a duty of care. You do good for someone, so you get it back in return in some or the other way, right?
Definitely.
So students are a part of this particular marathon. Apart from that, IISM also plays a significant role in developing an impact report, a socio-economic impact report. The students, the IISM students are a part of the research team as well. So right from developing questions about the research to asking or making the feedback forms or the questionnaires, right? The students make this. The students reach out to all these runners who come to collect their bibs. So around 5,000, 6,000 interviews are taken of the runners. 5,000, 6,000 is a huge number. So students engage in taking interviews, asking questions, making a data or collecting data out of it. Once that data is collected, that data is used in making that particular report. That particular report is then further published in the Governor House. The Governor House. It is read by the industry experts. It is used by all these promoters, sponsors to better for the next year. The students' name are highlighted in that particular report, whoever has worked in that report, and that is a sense of huge pride. Like imagine a 17-18-year-old having his or her name in a report that is read by industry experts and published by the Governor of Maharashtra.
Definitely.
I would be on cloud 9 for that. So that is something very exciting. Apart from that, the students also get to learn from this particular mega event, make their own connections, that would further use for getting internships, getting full-time jobs, making industry connections. So one particular event has so much impact on students of IISM. So I think this is a great opportunity for the students to learn.
So I think in that sense, IISM has always been at the forefront in giving practical exposure to its students. So with that, what would be your final thoughts or advice that you would give to somebody wanting to specifically work in the marathon space?
I think it's a good time to invest in working for marathons. There are so many marathons coming up. people are investing in health or being fit, getting active into active running. So it's a good way, or it's a good time, I would say. People should get into the the running space, working towards marathon. What new can you get into active running, or organizing marathons? What are the other marathons in the world, like for example a Boston Marathon or a Sydney Marathon is doing? What can we learn from those particular marathon? How can we use those concepts in our particular marathon? So since this is the Asia's biggest marathon, how can we get this marathon as the world's best marathon? So concepts like these is something which we can, it's a good time to study and inculcate those particular concepts in these particular marathons, and make this marathon much bigger and bigger over the years.
Essentially it would be to innovate
absolutely, and with technology being at the the forefront, right? It's the primary thing that is right now, technology, and with the use of technology we can, I think, can do great things.
Definitely. So with that we come to an end, and thank you for being with us and sharing your wonderful insight today. So with that, guys, we'll end today's podcast. You can continue following us on our socials. Thank you.
Thank you.